Alright, Priest. Topsy-turvy. Yeah, like, this card makes sense. What's interesting is I think literally every single card that's ever been printed with this effect has seen competitive play. To some degree. Some more than others. But literally every single card that's ever been printed with this swap a minion's attack and health effect has seen play. So this will probably see play. It's a 0-mana version of it. It's not the kind of thing that's like deck defining. It's not the kind of thing that you're like, oh man, this is so good. It's just like it's a useful utility thing to have, so people will go out and utilize it, and it'll just show up. I don't know where it's going to show up. I don't know when it's going to show up, but it'll show up. Test subject. So Primal Fin Champion. It's not a Murloc, but that was never relevant. It costs less, which is very relevant, and it loses 1 attack, which was not really relevant. So I think this is just much better than Primal Fin Champion. Primal Fin Champion was okay in buff Paladin. Priest has better buffs than Paladin, so maybe this will be really good, or also okay. At the very least, it's okay. like even if you just, play this, Power Word Shield it, and then they kill it, and nothing else happens, like, you cycled it, right? You get your shield back, and it was like 1 mana draw a card, kind of. So, that's fine. Like, the worst case scenarios aren't even that bad with this card. So, it's fine. It's just, if you have some sort of, like, a priest deck with lots of buffs, you can throw this in if you need 1-drops, whatever. Cloning Device, interesting card. I don't know that it's that powerful, unfortunately. It is cool. And it being a Discover makes it, more powerful than I think people are giving it credit for. Because you can choose... People don't really run, like, 1,000,000 different kinds of minions. And so you're usually going to be able to pick, kind of just from their deck, what you want. And get the best thing for what you're doing. That being said, most minions, and cards in general these days, are very... They're chosen to synergize with the rest of the deck. Not always. Like the Baku decks have just been throwing in, big bodies and stuff. But, yeah, for the most part, looking for lots of, like, synergies. And so what that means is that if you get something, like, if they're doing really well with a thing, right, you can't just take that thing and do just as well with it. So you're spending a card to get a card that you're going to use less effectively than they're using. So I don't think it's a bad effect. I think it's overcosted. I think this really should be a 1-mana Discover. I think they're overvaluing how powerful this is. This feels very similar to the 1-mana Discover, a taunt minion or whatever. That kind of cycle. Yeah. I don't know. It probably won't do anything. It just seems too expensive for what it is, but it is a cool card. Dead Ringer, it's Loot Hoarder, but better. It doesn't fatigue you. It draws you quest progress. It's obviously good. You replace Loot Hoarders or you play both of them. Extra Arms, very cool card. I love the flavor of this. And it's not even that bad. It's a bad buff. 3 mana for 2/2. Nothing else is bad. But you get another bad one. You get 2 whole bad cards. It's so good. But this is so going back to the efficiently packaging bad cards together. This one might actually be a good example of that. It's hard to tell, honestly. But this sits in your curve as a 3-cost card, right? It's not a 6-cost card. It costs 6 total, but it is. You can play it on turn 3. So if you just have whatever out, you have a Northshire's been hanging around or a Radiant or whatever. You can just buff it. And feel okay. Trade into something, start, healing it up. It's not the end of the world. You can do good things putting small buffs on minions in Priest. It's pretty reasonable. And then, as the game goes on, you also get the other half of it coming down, which is a free card. A free card that's also giving you +2/+2. So it's it's like a 3-mana card in your curve that, as the game goes on, eventually gives you +4/+4. It's I don't know. It sounds good. The more I think about it, the more it sounds good. But just looking at it, it looks so bad and inefficient and slow and dirtily. And Priest can be doing better things. It just looks like Priest can be doing better things, but I don't think this is a bad card. I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever find a home. Maybe there's some sort of like test subject style, like just throw buffs on shit deck instead of Divine Spirit Inner Fire thing, but whatever. I don't know if that sounds worse than Divine Spirit Inner Fire, right? Omega Medic, I think people are kind of sleeping on this. This card's possibly the best Priest card in this set. It's either this or Reckless Experimenter, I think, hands down. So this is a Spider Tank. Priest Spider Tanks are excellent. They've always been among the best cards. And really among the best 3-drops in general. So this seems no different. You just play it out, turn 3, it does stuff, you heal it, it keeps doing stuff, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Then, in the late game, you heal for 10. 10's a lot. 4 mana, do nothing, and heal for 12 has seen a lot of play. Granted, to be fair, that's in a deck that can't really play small minions, so there's not really competing with this. But still, the point stands that you can spend 4 mana to heal for 12 and do nothing else. And that's considered a great card. This is 3 mana, heal for 10, and you get a Spider Tank. I'm excited to play this. I really am. And this card's going to be awesome. Yeah. One of my favorite cards in the set. Power Word Replicate. This is an interesting one. We've had cloning effects before. We've had cloning spells before. So this is like if you want to clone a thing and you want a 5/5. So like 5 mana 5/5 is just, it's whatever. That's kind of what you expect for that price tag. And so it's not, you want it to not just be like, oh, I like this Death Rattle, I like this Cube, I like this Velen, I want more of that. You want it to be, I want more of that, and I want it to be a 5/5, and I want to hit my opponent with 5/5s. Like, you want it to go in like a mid-range duplication kind of shell. We have not seen that in Priest. Maybe this can help push it into existence, but like it's hard to imagine how you would want this over like Mirage Collar or Vivid Nightmare. Like Vivid Nightmare in particular, because that's also a spell. This is competing directly with I don't know. It's a cool card though. Reckless Experimenter, this is probably the strongest or just under Omega Medic. It's hard to say which is better, but this card's clearly extremely powerful. I don't really need to cover it. I'm sure you've heard a million other people talk about it, but it gives, the one notable thing, if you've somehow missed the news, is it gives Priest a really good cube activator. So you can Carnivorous Cube something, and then the cube will die and instantly hatch. Also, the cube costs 2. So it's really easy to to do stuff with. Yeah, you can play with eggs, play with whatever you want. Just play it with Death Rattles. It's just good. This is gonna do some stuff. Zarek, probably not gonna do some stuff. So he's like Cairn, but you have to do work to make him slightly better than Cairn, and in general he's worse than Cairn. So like turn 6, you slam him down. You can't really cast spells on him unless you like topsy-turvy him for no value and feel stupid, and then your opponent kills him, and it's terrible because you just played a 6 out of 5/5 and then it just died. At least Karen would have given you a Yeti, right? And like even later in the game, you can keep casting spells on him, keep bringing him back, whatever. But if you have a bunch of buffs as a priest, normally what you do is you put them all on one minion all at once, and then you kill your opponent. So, I don't know. I don't see this being good. Maybe in Wild with, like, N'Zoth, because you can get a bunch of Zareks, and then you N'Zoth and get a bunch of 5/5s. But that seems worse than getting, like, Sylvanas', Obsidian Statues, Sledge Belchers, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Zarek's Cloning Gallery, though, is pretty good. We're kind of getting this trend of really shitty scientists with really good projects. I don't know what that says about what's going on in Boom Laboratories, but Zarek's Cloning Gallery, this card seems really good. You fill your board with 1/1 copies of shit, you play it in a deck with 1/1s. Like, there's a thought where you have, like, Velen, Malagos, Radiant, stuff like that. But if you draw any of those things, it's kind of awkward to put them back into your deck. You can, with, like, Bankers and such, but it's just really awkward. I don't think this is a combo card. I think this is just pure value. You want to summon a bunch of Death Rattles, you want to summon, like, Mechanical Whelps and Eggs and stuff, Cairns, and then maybe even a Geddon, and they clear your board, or you clear your board, or something happens, and you're still left with a ton of stuff, and you feel okay. Like, I don't know. Also, it instantly completes your quest. That's worth noting. If you draw this in Quest Priest, and then you play it on turn 9, your quest is done, and there you go. You can just Amara next turn. Oh, Ham was one on to Rogue, but we're done. We're done with Priest. Stop.